guys, welcome back to Coffee Talk.
I'm Claire.
I'm Bridget.
And I'm Olivia, and today we're going to be telling you a little bit about ourselves.
Along with telling you a little bit about ourselves, we're going to give you the basic information to know for going into high school.
We're also going to be talking about classes, extracurriculars, and tips for high school seniors. I'm Claire. I'm a senior at MHS. I have two brothers who are also the same age as me, so I'm a triplet. I play soccer and I'm in lacrosse season right now. And my favorite class at MHS was probably my English class with Miss Brox.
Hi guys, I'm Bridget, and I also have a brother. I'm not a triplet though, I'm a twin. And my favorite class this year, I have to say, was pre-calculus with Miss Bliss. Even though that wasn't my best grade, that was my favorite class. And in the free time, I like to go for walks. I have two dogs, and yeah.
Hey everyone, my name's Olivia, and I am not a twin or a triplet, but I do have a younger sister who's a sophomore. My favorite class at MHS is probably AP Environmental Science with Bridget and Claire, and Mrs. Lynch teaches that class. It's a really good class, and I like it. Just to talk a little bit about our future plans, next year I will be attending Bucknell University and majoring in psychology.
And next year I will be going to Providence College, and I am undecided as of right now.
And right now I don't know where I'm going to college, but that's okay.
So the first thing that we'll be discussing today are the extracurriculars at Medfield High School, and first we'll be focusing on the clubs. So Medfield High School offers 44 different clubs, and I know for a lot of freshmen that may seem like a lot and very overwhelming, but the good thing is there's something called a club fair that's usually held the first month of school, where all the club leaders meet outside the circle, outside the guidance office, and they share a little bit of information about their clubs, and you're able to sign up for the clubs at the club fair, which is nice.
So I'm kind of gonna go into like one of the clubs I really like, and I've learned like as I'm a senior now that like I joined so many clubs freshman year, but I didn't really stay with them because they weren't like something that I like really was like passionate about. But like one of my favorite clubs I'm involved in now is Best Buddies. So that's like one every Wednesday from like 2:15 to like 2:45. Like a whole group of people like come in like the gym, and we like basically just like hang out with kids with special needs, and we play different types of games, like get their favorite snacks for like Wednesday meetings, and it's just a super fun club to be involved in. And then the club that I'm going to be highlighting right now is the New Life Furniture Matters Club. Some of you may have heard of the New Life organization located in Walpole. This club is basically a club in support of that. So we run different drives, and then we also have different volunteer dates where a lot of the members of the club come together, and on a Saturday morning every once in a while we go to New Life to volunteer. It's a really great way to kind of have an impact on your kind of local community surrounding towns, and also a great way to get volunteer hours.
So another extracurriculars that the school offers are student-led organizations, and these are slightly different from clubs. These are organizations that you can't just join in. You have to be elected to be able to join them. So some examples of these are student government, student council and e-board, and National Honor Society. And so lucky for you, we have presidents of all three of those. Liv is president of National Honor Society and of student government. And then Claire is on our e-board for our student council.
Yeah. So Liv, do you want to talk about student government first? Sure. So a lot of people, when they're coming in from the middle school, they're familiar with student council, and that's kind of what it is at their school. So at Medfield High School, we have it divided into two different categories, student council and student government. So I've been a proud member of student government for all 4 years, and and it's been just such an amazing way to get involved in school. Some of the things that we do is we focus on fundraising for our class. So while student council is more of a school-wide situation, student government is more focused for each grade. And so we raise money for the prom, we plan our all-night party at launch, and then we do a couple other things like just to raise money like for caps and gowns. And so we do a lot of fundraising, and there's a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary, and a rep to the school committee, and those are the positions that you can be elected for. If you're elected once, you still have to rerun every single year, and that's kind of the way that it works at our school. I think it is a great way, and even if you run and you don't get elected and you still have interest the next year, you can absolutely run again, and I think it's one of the great ways to get involved. And me personally, I don't play sports,
So this has been like one of the best things that I could do to kind of keep my connections in the school.
Yeah, so I'm a part of student council, and that, like what Liv was saying, like it started in middle school. So I don't know if you remember, but you would like make a speech and you would like stand up in front of your class and basically like share like a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to be on student council. Kind of like a similar thing for like the process of getting onto student council now is like you have your e-board, which I'm a part of e-board now, and that's where seniors basically run for these positions. So again, like Liv said, it's like president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, public relations, rep to school committee, and it's people like that. I'm the secretary, so I like take notes for like our e-board. And e-board basically, we kind of like help run the entire general council of student council. And this is where kids can like run, like each like grade votes on like who they want to be part of student council. And like some of the things that we do, which is like our bigger events, is like pep rally, which happens every fall, which is like a week-long like little celebration of like different games, like little like fundraisers and just like things to get the school very like spirited and stuff. And then we also do like fundraisers like for outside like local communities too. We do like Putting for Patients, which is an organization to help like Dana-Farber, and the Jimmy Fund, which is like cancer research and all that stuff. So it's definitely a great way to get involved, and I really recommend that like everyone try, because even if you don't get elected from your grade, there's something called a walk-on where you can like run. So people run in the spring when you're trying to like get on student council, but if you don't get on, the walk-on process happens in the fall. So there's like 2 people per grade who didn't get originally selected, and they can get on in the fall. So there's definitely multiple opportunities to get onto the student council, and I think it's a great way to get involved.
Yeah.
And then finally, we'll talk about National Honor Society, which Liv's the president of.
Yes. So National Honor Society is something that you are selected to actually apply for when you are a sophomore. So there's a grade point average that you need to meet in order to kind of get the opportunity to run. So the sophomores right now are all sending in their applications. So once you meet the grade point average, you receive the materials you need to apply, and then there's an anonymous panel of teachers who go through and kind of see if this person is a good fit. And again, if you are not able to come into the National Honor Society in your sophomore year, at the end of it, you can run in your junior year, and you can even run right now at the end of like what would be our senior year. And within the National Honor Society, it's just a great way to kind of, you know, work on building your like leadership, work on building relationships with teachers, and also it's a great way to get some service hours, which are required to stay in the Honor Society. I've found that people that are in the National Honor Society really love it. I have enjoyed it a lot, and it's very like once you're in it, I would say it feels pretty low commitment. They're also in it, so
Yeah, no, it's good, and it gives you like a reason to really stay involved, like with service hours and like really just getting involved and volunteering.
Yeah, it's good to get involved in the community, and it's pretty low maintenance, but like obviously if you don't follow what is asked, then you will be removed from the Honor Society. But I mean, it's a good motivation for freshmen and sophomores to kind of work to keep up their GPA. So that's the National Honor Society. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the sports that are offered at Medfield High School. While I do not participate in sports, we have 2 captains of different sports here, so it's a perfect way to kind of get the inside scoop.
So I was a captain of the girls soccer team this past fall, and basically a little bit about it, and it's kind of similar with all the different sports. There's like usually a week-long tryout, which typically, depending on the sport you play, are pretty difficult, but nothing to be scared of. And at the end of tryouts, depending on the numbers for the sports, there can be a freshman team, but if numbers are smaller, it'll just be a JV team and a varsity team, and even smaller, some sports only have a varsity team. But the freshman and JV teams, those are definitely low commitment, like nothing on weekends, over break, usually nothing. Whereas the varsity level is definitely a little bit more competitive and definitely more of a time commitment. So that could be over like school breaks, over weekends, especially playoffs. The games could really be whenever, so it's kind of like a full commitment during your season. There are 3 different sports seasons, so like the school year is split up into 3 different seasons. So it's a fall, a winter and a spring, and they're all about 3 months long. And so Claire will talk about her spring season.
Yeah, so I am the captain for girls lacrosse, and so I'm obviously like in season right now, and it's going really well. But I just wanted, Bridget mentioned this earlier, but tryouts are obviously like a week long, and I am one who stresses really badly before a tryout. Even like this year I stressed just because I feel like tryouts are very nerve-wracking, especially if you're like a freshman and sophomore and you're trying to like make the varsity team. And honestly, obviously that's like very stressful, but as long as you prepare like really well and you like go to all the captain's practices, which I feel like every sport has, it's like prior to the season, like the captains will host and be like, hey, like we're gonna go to the turf and we're gonna like play soccer, or we'll play lacrosse, and just for everyone to like meet each other and just like get like some skills like going around like before like the tryout happens. And they just all like want to make sure that like everyone's prepared and stuff like that, but just try your best, and I think that that's kind of like the best way to like prepare. But yeah.
And on a non-sports level, I definitely think that we would all recommend that everyone try a sport if you have even like a little bit of interest in it. I played volleyball my freshman and my sophomore year. I never made it to the varsity level, but it was a great chance to make friends and like, you know, have something to do after school. But as a friend watching them during their soccer season with our other bestie, Mandy, it was such like it was so heartwarming because you're really able to kind of see the bond that people create on a team. And I feel like there's even watching on the outside, there's nothing like that bond that you have with your teammates.
Yeah. But it's definitely super fun. I highly recommend, like Liv said, like it's definitely like a great way to meet people. And I've met like a lot of good friends, like especially like upperclassmen. It's just like a fun way because you wouldn't typically like meet them or like really talk to anyone like in the hallway. And like some of the people that I've like been on a team with, we kind of all say like, oh, I feel like like especially the younger kids now that we're seniors, like I feel like, oh, like I wouldn't normally like be friends with you, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Like
be friends if it wasn't for this sport, and it really like makes like
but now we're all good friends, so it's awesome. It's like a fun little group. So yeah, I highly recommend. Aside from sports, like what we just talked about, there's like other things that you can do if you're not like a sports person, you don't really want to get involved with that. There's like theater, which is like really popular. There's like 3 shows each year that are like really good. We've all been to them and they're very well produced and everyone does such a good job. There's also like music, which again, like you have in like middle school. It's like band, orchestra, chorus. I don't know if I'm missing any. Jazz choirs,
jazz band, maybe.
Jazz band, like anything like that. And there's also like different types of like art classes that you can take, and you're required to take at least 2 art classes in your high school career. And even if art's not your thing, there's like business classes and other like smaller history classes that you can take. But art's definitely like a fun way to like get involved. It's definitely more of like a relaxing, well for me when I took like a ceramics class, it was definitely more of like a relaxing time, but it's still like something fun that you can do to like be creative.
Next we'll be talking about some of the required classes that you need to take to graduate high school. So first, math and English. You need 4 years of math and English, so freshman through senior year you'll be taking those classes. And then you'll need 1 year of world history, which is typically freshman year, and then 2 years of US history. And then for the science courses, you have to take biology, chemistry, and physics. Those are freshman through junior year, and then senior year you have freedom to take whatever class you want.
And then additionally, there's 4 years of wellness required, 3 years of world language required, which includes French, Latin, Mandarin, and Spanish, and then 2 art credits required. However, when it comes to the art credits, there's so many classes that count. It does not have to be like ceramics. It can be a business. It can be culinary arts, which is cooking, and just so many other things. So at MHS, you really have just no limits to take whatever classes you really want and whatever you feel your interest is going towards.
And that's all for Coffee Talk. We'll see you next week.
Bye!